that's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Dio Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diotech online at diotech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with a bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184, 2,500 down with proof credit.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
You've got used to one segment of Good Takes in the morning, but now there's a full show of Good Takes at night. Welcome into Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's Monday. It must be Monday. Raff's Good Take on Sports. Nick Wyman alongside Chris Raff. Super Bowl is behind us. But here we are. Super Bowl is behind us. Raff, how are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. The weather's been brilliant down here. So got out, was able to play 9 holes of golf today. So that was awesome. But then there's that sense of sadness that is drawn in now that the NFL is now officially over for the, I guess, not even the year, I guess for 204 days or something crazy like that.
It's about 200 days. You're right. But yeah, the off season will be kicking in the high gear here in a matter of weeks.
So what were your thoughts on the Super Bowl? Was it exciting enough for you? Was it boring? How did it play out for you?
So I went down first half. I was down at Buffalo Wings and Rings for our get together Super Bowl party. The wings were great. I had honey barbecue. I should have gotten 15. I had 10. I'm still full, but they were pretty good. Yeah, I mean, the first half, it was kind of a defensive battle. Jason Myers, I thought, should have gotten some MVP votes. I know the kickers and punters are not eligible, but he was a guy where he was scoring all the points, and the Patriots, to their credit, were making them stall in their own territory and be able to get off the field and force just field goals. And it was, what it was. And New England's offense, their offensive line just could not hold up throughout. And that's kind of what the story of the game was. Seattle's defense just being able to prevent New England from doing anything until about fourth quarter. But at that point, it was touchdowns to just kind of make it look a little closer than it was. I like defensive football, but at the same time, I'd like to see some touchdowns. It's hard when your first half just a bunch of field goals. But at the same time, I mean, it was kind of what I expected. But at the same time, I mean, Seattle just proved that, hey, they were legit. There's a reason they barely trailed throughout this entire postseason, and proved that they were the superior team and the best team in the NFL this year. And they handled business. Sam Darnold, what the stat line was what it was. Threw a touchdown, obviously, later. Kenneth Walker was breaking tackles like no other. The first running back to win it in like 20-some years. Terrell Davis was the last one to win it. Broncos guy. But outside of that, I mean, it was just Seattle and kind of what it was. I didn't find it boring. It was just you needed some points, and they came in the second half.
Yeah, I think from like the defensive standpoint of the game, if you're a defensive fan, the first half was, a gem, pretty much by both teams. I mean, it was 9-0 at halftime, I think it was. Yep. So that was good. But then from another standpoint, I just thought it was boring for me. Just there was really no excitement that played into that game. Like, I think you look for going to the end of the game, you want the other team to, when you don't have a, so to say, a dog in the fight, as Tom Brady would say, you wanted that game to be exciting coming down to the end. You wanted it to be decided in like the last possession, or, a kick or something where it was climactic. It just felt like that game never really had that. It felt like, Seattle had that game well in control most of the game, even when New England was able to rack up some, late passing yards and a couple touchdowns there. It never felt like that Seattle was in any type of disarray or chaos or, thinking, here comes New England. It just never felt that way. So that's kind of the way I looked at that game. So I guess from that standpoint of being exciting and that factor, I just didn't think it lived up to that. But, like the defense played well. I'm glad that, May was able to put up some yards in the second half, because that's a miserable feeling, going to a Super Bowl and just laying a complete egg. So I'm glad that he was able not to, have to feel it an off season of, you were the second place finisher in the MVP, and you were unable to even produce anything in the Super Bowl. So I guess from that standpoint, that was a good thing.
My favorite part, I think, of the storyline is Sam Darnold. I knew that was a storyline, obviously, going in. He's bounced around the league, and he number 3 overall pick in that draft class alongside Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Those are some names who have kind of made a name for themselves in the league since they've been drafted. And Sam Darnold, I mean, Josh Rosen's in that class too, but Josh Rosen, that's his story. But look at Sam Darnold. This is a guy with the Jets. He was supposed to be the franchise quarterback. Didn't last very long. Got kind of ousted, goes to the Panthers, kind of is in there with Baker for a little bit, then ends up going to San Francisco, going to the Kyle Shanahan team, quarterback club, basically, and learns what he can, soaks all he can there, that team as a backup. And it seemed at that point, it's like, okay, this guy's probably just a career backup. He's going to bounce around the league and be a valuable backup quarterback. And that's what role he's going to play. And if you'd have told me, hey, he's going to start a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl back in 2021, 2022, I'd be like, around which team is he going to be on? Is he started for the Niners with a stacked roster, maybe? And then he goes to Minnesota and he has a solid season. And that's, Minnesota then kind of said, thank you for your time. We have all this invested in the JJ McCarthy, but thank you for the 14-3 season. But hey, we have this rookie quarterback who we're putting all our putting everything into him. And then Seattle scoops him up, signs him for a contract. And before the season started, I was kind of like, the Rams and the 49ers are probably your NFC West teams that are going to have to be the ones to watch out for, as it's been the last couple of years. And then Seattle kind of comes out of nowhere, wins a lot of games. And I mean, Sam Darnold did lead the league in turnovers, and here he is in the playoffs, and he played clean football for the most part, and was able to make some big-time throws to start that game, get some momentum on Seattle's side, and threw a touchdown. And Here they are, Super Bowl champions, Sam Darnold. Probably my favorite storyline of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody had that on their bingo card. I mean, even going into the year, I don't even think they had that on their bingo card that Sam Darnold would be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I mean, it's awesome for him. Cool piece, that little tidbit, the first starting quarterback from USC to win a Super Bowl. That was a wild statistic. But then you go back and look at it and you're like, yeah, Matt Leinart, that didn't happen. Carson Palmer didn't happen. You can go back to, you have to go back into the your USC timeline. I think, I know Mark Harmon was UCLA, but it didn't happen for him either. But just, that was a crazy statistic to see that he was the first starting quarterback to win a Super Bowl that started at USC. That was pretty wild.
You look at the recent, Caleb Williams was a USC quarterback at a time. Jackson Dart, funny enough, was a quarterback at USC for a very small time. But yeah, you mentioned like Sam Darnold's in there. I mean, throwing some names like Mark Sanchez. He was very close. He was very close to getting to a Super Bowl with the New York Jets. And then Sam Darnold, a guy who was drafted by the New York Jets, ends up winning it, but he's with a different franchise, which that has
we forgot Todd Marinovich.
Name that doesn't at my timeline, not on my radar. But yeah, I mean, there's you mentioned Carson Palmer's another one. There's so many. You go down the list of quarterbacks, you just go down, and there's so many of them. But Mark Sanchez. I mean, he was probably Carson Palmer had a couple of years in there. He was in the playoffs, but outside of that, it's been Sam Darnold, and that is a crazy stat. North Carolina as well. I mean, Drake May was the only one from North Carolina. There hasn't been a whole lot of them. I mean, Mitch Trubisky. Probably the most recent, but he's now a backup. But yeah, that's the storyline to watch. Kenneth Walker winning MVP, I think, is a really cool thing. I didn't know it's been that long since a running back has won Super Bowl MVP. It's been a quarterback's award for a lot of years. Maybe a defensive guy makes a big play. Malcolm Smith in the last Seahawks Super Bowl was the winner, and when they won in the Meadowlands. But outside of that, it's not really been a whole running back situation winning the MVP, and Kenneth Walker got that.
Yeah, that caught me off guard. I was stunned. I was surprised. I was even surprised when they said that, like Terrell Davis, that he was coming up on Terrell Davis had the most yards rushing. It was at the 97 Super Bowl. I think he had like 157 yards rushing, and that they were saying that was the most that rushing yards in, going on almost 30 years now. I was just surprised. You would have thought that there would have been a back, to have more than 150 plus yards rushing in a Super Bowl over the past 30 years. But being that has not happened, and even Kenneth Walker ended up with 135, he would have had probably 185 because that touchdown that got called back on the holding.
Yep, that was just like icing on the cake, kind of for his Super Bowl money. He's 8th all time now in rushing yards in the Super Bowl. So that's Terrell Davis had 157, Timmy Smith 204 with the most. That was against your Denver Broncos. So you remember that one pretty vividly. Marcus Allen's out there, John Riggins, Franco Harris, some legendary names that Kenneth Walker is now in there with the top 10. So there's Emmitt Smith has below him in 10th, and then Thurman Thomas is who he is tied with right now for 8th with 135. So he's up there with some legendary names of Super Bowls past.
And it's going to be interesting to see going into next year what the odds makers, where Seattle lands at. I doubt that there'd be the odds on favorite going into next year, but you'd think, what they showed, that they're going to get some consideration to, potentially be one of the teams to look out for. I mean, they have to be one of the teams to look out for next year, just with the team they have. But Kenneth Walker, I believe he's a free agent after this year, correct?
He is. So, I mean, you have a performance like that on the grandest stage of them all. In professional football, you're gonna catch some eyes, and if you're gonna run like that against a Patriots defense that was pretty stout all year, you're gonna catch some eyes with some other teams trying to contact you. I would assume so.
And you know what's crazy about that is if it had been any other position, Seattle would probably franchise tag and make sure that they did not lose him. But the running back position, the way it is these days, it would not surprise me one bit if Seattle lets him walk. I mean, I think they'll try to have discussions with him to sign him to a new contract, but I doubt they'll use a franchise tag on him to keep him, just for the fact that the way the running backs, the position, it just seems like it's 5 years in a cloud of dust anymore if you're a running back in the NFL. So I'd be very surprised if Seattle decides to put the franchise tag on him, but I think they will discuss a contract extension, but I don't see a franchise tag being placed upon him.
Well, you're saying like, next year Seattle obviously wins the Super Bowl, so you have to be mentioned in those top teams coming into the next season, the 2026-27 season. Well, Seattle, they have $75 million in cap space for this offseason. They have a lot of room to grow and be able to wrangle in some free agents. So I think that is a team that you can look at and be like, oh, they're probably not going anywhere. If you keep a guy like, Sam Darnold's gonna be back, you can bring back Kenneth Walker. The defense is still young for majority, and they're just, if they keep doing that, I mean, they're called the dark side is kind of what they labeled their defense. I like it. It's they didn't copy the Legion of Boom mantra. They're like, it's a new era too. I like it. The Legion of Boom was cool because it was like, oh, that's a cool nickname, and they backed it up with some guys like Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, and now you have this the dark side, kind of like a Star Wars throwback or whatever you want to call it. I like it, and they're gonna, there's still a lot of young talent on the team. Kobe Bryant, the former Cincinnati, played with Sauce Gardner on that Cincinnati team that made the college football playoff in the 14 playoff years ago. So it's a nice little group of guys. I think you have to consider them that this isn't it.
Who's your selection?
I mean, it's too early. I hate to pick Super Bowls 364 days out. I hate doing that. I even hate doing it before the season too, because it's like you're going to be wrong majority of the time. Getting it right, it's like buying a lottery ticket. It's impossible. And injuries happen. Guys sign. The rosters are not even set. It's kind of like picking college football games in January too. I hate doing that because it's like, oh, look at the 2026 schedule. It's like, well, we don't really know who the full coaching staff is, who the starting quarterback is yet. So I hate picking it. I don't know. You'd have to throw out in the AFC. I mean, the Patriots got to be up there just because of the young talent they have, what Mike Vrabel did in one season with them to get them to a Super Bowl. It has to put them in some kind of contention. They're not going anywhere. It's hard to get back there. That's the thing. Like a team like Cincinnati made it a couple of years ago, played the Rams in SoFi, and everyone thought, oh, this Bengals team is going to be right back here. And they haven't really been to the playoffs really since. They've been a couple times, but for the most part, injuries have kind of plagued them. Defense has kind of plagued them. There's no guarantee getting back there. I remember when the Eagles lost to the Chiefs that one year, people were like, well, I don't know if the Eagles will get back here, but they did. A couple of years later, Jalen Hurts then raised the Lombardi Trophy. I don't know. I'd say, Denver's got to be in consideration. I saw it earlier, like somebody has like the Chargers favored to win the AFC West. I'm like, what? Like Denver, look at the season Denver had. Denver missed a quarterback. I don't know what Bo Nix's status in the next year is. That will obviously affect that. Probably free agency because Denver, I don't know if you rolled it out with Jarrett Stidham or if you bring in somebody else. A lot of questions to be asked for them. But if you get Bo Nix back and you have Sean Payton, everybody else on board, I mean, they got to be. Chiefs, I don't know. Patrick Mahomes allegedly is walking again already. Allegedly. We don't know. It doesn't know. Football activities haven't began. Training camp's a long time away. Preseason games will kick into high gear, and the Hall of Fame game will be here before we know it. I don't know. It's like this year's NFL was really fun just because there was so much unpredictability week by week. It was just how it was, and I think that adds a little layer into everything about who you can choose. I think this team coming into the next year is me good. Because Seattle, they weren't on my radar. They weren't on a lot of people's radar, and here they are hosting the Lombardi Trophy in Santa Clara.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I thought the AFC West next year, it's gonna be a crazy division next year because the way it sounds like Travis Kelce is leaning on coming back. I think you'll see Travis Kelce again next year with Eric Bieniemy back in the fold. I think Kelce returns back. I think that Patrick Mahomes will be around. I bet he starts the first game of next year. It would not surprise me one bit. Just the way that he is, I think he'll be your game one starting quarterback. Then you got the Chargers today, bringing back Adam Gase, which he's been sitting out the last 3-4 years. But I wonder what the Chargers. I mean, they're like everybody's baby because they've got Jim Harbaugh, but they brought in Mike McDaniel, and then you can have Adam Gase. It's like part of me is like, do you have too many cooks in the kitchen right there with that offense? But it'll be interesting to see the Broncos. Nix will be back. I think he is projected to be back in 12 weeks, so he'll be fine when the season starts. And then you've got a lot of cap space the Broncos will have because you remember Russell Wilson was technically the highest paid player on the Broncos offense this year, even though he wasn't getting paid it. But the dead money anyway was the Broncos offense. So that'll be interesting to see. It's funny how things cycle through. For a few years there, you didn't see many free agents really want to come to Denver, but I think this offseason, I think you're going to see some free agents that are going to want to return to Denver. I know Von Miller, he's trying everything he can to get back with the Broncos. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, but it'll definitely be an interesting offseason. I think that's one of the best things that the NFL has is the off season. They make the off seasons go by really quick because you got the combine, you've got free agency, you got the draft, and before you know it, it's Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio, and then Hall of Fame induction, which I will be at. So
Roger Craig. So that'll be cool. They haven't announced the game yet, but that's still a cool experience. I've always wanted to go to the stadium there in Canton. Looks like something like a one-time thing you can go to and enjoy, just because it's such a, all the history with professional football there, and then you also get a game in the backyard right there.
What's crazy about that is, for what's going to be for us, is the last time we were there was 21 years ago or 22 years ago now for John Elway's induction.
Mm-hmm.
And Fawcett Stadium, since we've been there, took a whole facelift. I mean, it's totally been updated. The Hall of Fame in Canton is probably grown like 300-400% since we were there. So the differences in the past 22 years of the Hall of Fame is going to be pretty incredible when we go there. So it'll be a fun trip. So looking forward to that.
That's all the way in August. That'll be they'll sneak up on you pretty quickly because, like you said, the NFL offseason moves. The combine, then you have the draft process, then you have free agency, and then you get in that. You talked about the AFC West. Another thing interesting from last night is Clint Kubiak already announced that he's going to be taking the Raiders job, the Raiders coaching search. It was pretty much kind of narrowed in on him. I think it's cool for him. Not only this chapter of Seattle being the OC. His dad, Gary Kubiak, obviously wins the Super Bowl 50 as the Broncos coach in Santa Clara. He caps off his time in Seattle, OC, wins the Super Bowl in that same stadium in Santa Clara. And now he moves on to the next chapter of his coaching career, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that's a very good kind of closure for his time in Seattle and what he accomplished, because now he gets to go to a franchise who's desperately needing somebody to kind of bring him in and be able to have some stability in Las Vegas, and they have the number 1 pick. So that's probably your guy, with pairing him with Fernando Mendoza, more than likely. Possibly, but it's not confirmed. You have Geno Smith still on board.
Did you hear the rumors coming out last night a little bit?
About what? Fernando Mendoza?
No, there's potential that Derek Carr might come out of retirement.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Like, maybe that's a hire that you want to bring him in. I don't know. It's weird because I like Derek Carr. I think he had a really good time with the Raiders, him and Devontae Adams. Obviously, how it ended, it was just kind of the end of that chapter. And he goes to New Orleans, and he has played some solid football. Injuries happen. They add up. He's been hurt throughout his career, and that'd be very interesting. I mean, if Phillip Rivers can come off the couch and hang with the soon-to-be Super Bowl champions, I think anybody could come out of retirement and play, Derek Carr being one of them.
Wouldn't that be the most Raider thing of all time, though? You have the first pick of the draft. You have a chance to get Fernando Mendoza. You decide to trade the first pick, trying to get more picks, more draft picks, and decide to re-sign Derek Carr as your quarterback.
It would be interesting. It'd be a return. I mean, if you get him back, because is he technically a free agent, or he's still under contract with the Saints? That's the thing.
See, I thought he was technically under contract with the Saints, but the way they made it sound last night, Adam Schefter making it sound is that he's open to sign with other teams. So I'm not sure how that would all play out, but I would think if you're the Saints, the Saints probably would release him, because I think they're set with Tyler Shuck now. So I don't know. Yeah. It'll be a fun offseason to see how all of that. It's always fun to see where the free agents end up and how that all plays out. So,
well, and then before we go to break, when we shift topics, I mean, you got the quarterbacks maybe moving around. You have Kyler Murray maybe ending his time in Arizona and Tua Tagovailoa, who could be traded too. I think he was finished. I think in Miami. I'm just curious what teams would want to take on, because there's so much money with both those quarterbacks. Where would they go? I mean, there's a team like the Jets who are probably in line to get Dante Moore. I would assume, but that's just entirely on the franchise if they wanted to draft another quarterback. However, now there's maybe one quarterback probably going in the first round. And now, I mean, Derek Carr could affect that too. Let's say Derek Carr goes back to the Raiders, then the Jets are in line for Fernando Mendoza if they want to do that, unless they want to trade for a quarterback who has established himself in the league. It could get really dicey then and see like what happens. It's all about, and money, because Tua's making a lot of money. They all are making a lot of money, but it's a matter of which teams want to make those trades or to stay pat and whatever they want to do.
This is my theory. Watch this come to fruition. The Raiders decide to bring back Derek Carr. Derek Carr goes to the Raiders. Fernando Mendoza falls to the Jets. Fernando Mendoza says, yeah, I don't think so. Petitions the NCAA, returns back to Indiana, and plays next year for Indiana.
You really think that's a possibility?
In today's world of football, I think anything's on the table. And look at it this way. The Jets right now, that's an organization you do not want to play for if you're a quarterback. I mean, they've set the standard of not being a great quarterback central right now. And now you have Fernando Mendoza sitting there where he could play technically for Indiana again next year because he had eligibility left. Mark Cuban says, hey, I'll give you $12 million to come. I mean, think about it. I mean, that's one of those things where you've definitely got to think about it and say, go to the Jets. They really haven't shown much of a pulse, for quarterbacks, or go back to Indiana and get paid $12 million and be, the king of college football. I mean, that's something you'd think about. I still think the Raiders end up drafting Fernando Mendoza. I think you got to play the youth card there. And with the young head coach, Clint Kubiak, coming in there, I think you got to bring in Mendoza, and that's got to be your franchise. You've got to set your franchise around him. But then again, it's the Raiders, and even with the greatness of a Kubiak in town, you never know when it's the Raiders. You just never know.
That's what I mean. They've been through a ton of coaches, John Gruden, Antonio Pierce, Josh McDaniels. They've been through it, I think, and now Pete Carroll 1 year there. I don't know. I don't think that would happen just because they have Josh Hoover already there, and I don't know how that shakes out with him. This guy's like, hey, you're going to be the next starter after Mendoza. Oh yeah, by the way, Mendoza's back. I don't think that would shake the team very well. But we're going to go to a break here. Raff's Good Take on Sports. Nick Wyman, Raff on the other side. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Keep listening to us. We're streaming only. We will be right back after this break.
At Raising Cane, making the most craveable chicken finger meals, getting them right every time. That's why we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, salt every fry, squeeze every lemon, and brew every ounce. We do this inside every Raising Cane's, every day. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934. 8934 HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
And we're back. Raff's Good Take on Sports. Nick Wyman here in the 10 at the 94.7 Ticket Studios. Raff on the other side. Raff, another win for Nebraska basketball. Get back on the winning streak after seeing those 2 losses to Illinois and Michigan. Getting back with an 80-68 win on the road in Piscataway against Rutgers. Just nice to see him get back in the win column, but also nice to see one individual player get going as Rink Mast led the way in scoring.
Yeah, it was huge for him to get back with 25 points, 8 rebounds. Just a good get back, feel better game for him. Gets him back in the swing of things. Looks like he's, back to being 100% healthy or close to 100%. It's just what Nebraska needs going into a huge game tomorrow night, 6 p.m. The Vault, the Purdue Boilermakers on FS1. It's going to be a dandy. So I'm looking forward to watching that. I already got my Sam Hoiberg post up. One more sleep until Nebraska basketball. the excitement of Nebraska basketball never seen at this level. I cannot remember being this excited for Nebraska basketball games. Maybe 1991, 92, 90, around those years. It was fun back then. Dick Vitale coming into Bob Devaney Sports Center. Yes, he was at Bob Devaney once, but yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to, and it should be a fun game tomorrow night. And Nebraska has another chance to, solidify itself. It's crazy to say it, but for a possible, number one seed if they continue to. I mean, if they can close out the Big Ten schedule and they can, continue to win, first round or first number one seed is, I would say, a guarantee if they can, do I say win out?
I mean, it's the schedule. Like, this is the only ranked team left on the regular season schedule for the time being. But the schedule's still don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you. I think because
they got some thorns.
You got Purdue, who's Purdue has come. They had a 3-game skid there. It's very rare to see Purdue kind of slip up and have games like that. UCLA hit a big shot against them in LA. They lose to Indiana. And then Illinois, Keen Wagler drops 46 on them in West Lafayette, which is very rare to see a player play like that and a team come out with wins there, because it's a place where you've seen teams just handle, Purdue's been able to handle business in that arena for year after year after year. And then they go on that little skid, get back in the win column. And I don't know if you saw their game. They struggled with Oregon. Oregon came into Purdue and kind of hung around with them almost till the final buzzer. But Purdue, the Boilermakers, edged out a win. Before that, they beat Maryland pretty handily, almost by 30 points to get back in the win column. So I would assume Purdue is going to be on their game, but they have struggled in PBA in recent memory. They have, but it's another top 15 clash. Cornhuskers and Purdue tomorrow. Number 7, Nebraska. Number 13, Purdue. That'll start at 6 o'clock. Post-game coverage right here on the ticket around 8 o'clock. So it should be a fun one. I'm excited for it. 6 o'clock, not an 8 o'clock tip. I'm not a fan of the 8 o'clock tips personally. I get it where the Nebraska is sort of the West Coast of the Big Ten, but it is what it is. But like I said, the schedule is you have Northwestern, a rematch. Hard to beat a team twice, they always say, is the cliche, but that game's at home. That game's at home. Then Iowa on the road, always a tough rivalry game. Talk about it in football. It's just as big as basketball. I mean, Price Stanford, add that to the equation now. His return to his former school. That'll be a nice little wrinkle into things. And then Penn State, Maryland. Those are 2 home games. They also have 4 of the next 5 games here in February at home. So you're home cooking now after you went through kind of the gauntlet of the schedule of the road test. Rutgers, Michigan, Minnesota, Indiana as well in there. And then you have those 2 home games, as mentioned, Penn State, Maryland. And then end of the month, West Coast trip, USC and UCLA. And those are the 2 ones I circle because, you head out west, different time zone. Haven't played a conference game there yet before. Last year, Nebraska went 2-0 in the West Coast trip. They played Washington and Oregon last year and went 2-0 in those games. So now they're making the trip back over this year, this time playing the Trojans and the Bruins. And that'll be interesting and close out the year against Iowa. But like you said, no slouches on their schedules. Iowa will be a tough out. Northwestern playing them again could be tough. Penn State, they've played some tough teams so far, and they've hung around with them. Michigan State, they hung with Illinois for a little bit, and then you have USC, UCLA, Iowa to close the year. Those are teams that are going to be able to challenge Nebraska in every facet of the game.
Yeah, it's wild in the sense that those games, they're all going to be, like you said, challenges. But it's not awesome. It's one of those times where you can also look at them and say, if Nebraska plays their game, they can win those games. This is that one-off year and probably a lifetime to where about every game Nebraska goes into, you think, hey, if Nebraska plays their game, they can win, and it's something that's never really been seen before. And but probably since like the 1930s or something like that. I think that's the last time they were like 21-2 or something crazy like that. So it's gonna be a fun, final month of the basketball season. And if somehow Nebraska can get, is it a triple bye or a double bye to Big Ten tournament?
Triple bye because because now they used to not take the bottom teams in the tournament. Now everybody's in the tournament. The more the merrier, as they say. So you'll have more tournaments. It's not the craziest tournament. I know a couple like the Sun Belt has like and the West Coast Conference is famous for having the top 2 seeds to get a bye all the way to the semis. So it's not the craziest format in college basketball conferences, but it is. And right now, Nebraska has sole possession of the 3rd seed in the conference tournament. So that would, if the top teams would win, and as they should, Nebraska would get a quarterfinal matchup with UCLA if things stayed pat now. But there's still a month of regular season play. A lot can change. Nebraska's just a game and a half out of first place. Michigan, Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan State, and Purdue are all kind of in that same window. So tomorrow's game will mean a lot for seeding and tiebreakers and all that. UCLA sitting 6 and Iowa sitting in the 7 spot, and then USC right behind there in the 9. So there are games coming up that are going to be valuable for seeding in the conference tournament. And then you talked about how Nebraska, wants to try to get a 1 seed. There's teams in front of them, obviously, but we saw this week that anything can happen in college basketball. UConn goes down to St. John's in New York. Gonzaga, a team that really doesn't really slip up when West Coast Conference plays. Maybe they play a team like San Francisco or St. Mary's, but they lose to Portland, who hadn't beat them in 12 years, 0-20 in the last 20 meetings. And then there's only the third time the Pilots have beaten Gonzaga. So you look at Nebraska, I think you just control your own destiny. Don't worry about what other teams don't, if this team wins, maybe Nebraska can get because Iowa State's another team up there who plays a loaded second half of their Big 12 season. They play Arizona again. They can't. There's so many factors that can go into the seeding here in the next couple weeks until Selection Sunday.
Well, even last week, everybody was anointing, Illinois is one of the top, maybe 1 or 2 teams in the country, and then the rankings come out today, and Nebraska's ahead of them. It's just like it's wild how the season just plays out. You lose the game, and next thing you know, you're behind the team that you beat the week prior. It's crazy like that because Illinois is 8th this week, Nebraska's 7th, and that kind of took me a little off guard there. I was like, well, I guess we'll take it. But
yeah, I mean, and Michigan State's, they lose to Minnesota last week on that Wednesday where there were a ton of upsets, and they recover. They beat Illinois, go to overtime in that game. Another crazy game that was on Saturday evening, and they're ranked number 10. They're right there, and Purdue's right behind them in 13. Teams who have slumped and had some tough losses and games they probably should have won, but the games aren't played on paper. They went up to Minnesota, struggled up there, and Minnesota was able to pull off the upset. Purdue, another team who's lost to Indiana and whatnot. Nebraska, I think what helps them is their 2 losses are to 2 of the top 10 teams in the country right now in Illinois and Michigan. And I think that helps because Nebraska does not have a bad loss. And if you look even deeper, that Michigan game, you didn't have Rink Mass. You didn't have Braden Frager. And you had guys like Leo Curtis playing minutes, being able to step in. And then the Illinois game, Illinois was just, they caught him at the wrong time. Illinois was the hottest team in the country.
Yes, they
They were. And then they go out to East Lansing, another tough place to play, and they suffer a loss, which wasn't really a bad loss, which is why they're still in the top 10. It's just how it is. And it's going to be a grind out the final month of the regular season. There'll be a lot of talk about how if they win this game, that happens. I think you just control your own destiny, play the schedule you can. There's nothing else. Control what you can control, I think is the motto going forward for Nebraska, because you just can't control, outside factors with everything else going around college basketball.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. Like I said, it's going to be a fun last month of Nebraska basketball, and the way the schedule plays out for Nebraska, a lot of home games. So you're going to get people are going to get a chance to go out and support the Huskers. It's all completely sold out, but I'm sure there's ways to get in. I believe if you want to go to a Nebraska basketball game, I think you'd probably find yourself getting into it. Might have to spend some money on it, but it will be fun.
With that, did you see there were some really good college basketball games on Saturday? I mentioned the Michigan State Illinois game. Another chapter was written in the North Carolina Duke rivalry. I mean, I go back to a couple of years ago. I remember watching the Austin Rivers hit the 3 to beat North Carolina as one of the, and then there's the Tyler Hansbrough bleeding clip. That's always, there's so many different chapters in this rivalry. The Zion Williamson times when he played there are so many different chapters in that rivalry between UNC and Duke. And another one was written on Saturday when Seth Trimble hit that shot from the corner. And that was the only time that the Tar Heels led that entire game, those 0.4 seconds. They trailed the entire way, were able to come back, and were able to storm the court against Duke, which has a little bit of news because the court storming a couple of years ago, that was a hot topic with, should it be allowed in college basketball? Should it be allowed in general? And now they happens again. There's some people don't like it because of said reasons, because if injuries could happen, you never know, especially when there's that many people in that little tiny area on a basketball court. I'm just curious what your thoughts were just in general, just if you saw that North Carolina game and then kind of the court storming dilemma that's kind of making the trend again.
Yeah. I court storming, man, it's like you try to take it away, but I mean, big games, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of, getting the people out of the stands. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I know it's a safety issue, but I also, the excitement of, being in college and getting to storm the court. I mean, I'm not going to lie. In 1994, Nebraska, Kansas, I mean, there's still video clip of me out there somewhere. I was the first one on the court. I mean, I was national news on ESPN for maybe it was the other guys there that were on the team, but no, it's like, so I don't know if you can take that away for safety issues, but it's hard to take away. I mean, court storming, I think it's part of, I think, college basketball, the big upsets. But like the Nebraska, we've got to a point now where the players are like, please do not storm the court because we expect to win these games. So I guess kind of surprising Duke, North Carolina, that there's a court storming being, two teams that are, such blue bloods, but being, I guess, such a big rivalry, and the way that game ended on just that shot, I guess that's what leads to that type
what also made that so interesting is, the shot goes in, crowd storms the court.
It's not
they got to put more time on the clock. It's not over yet. So then everybody's got to kind of go back, get off the court, and then they do it again after Duke tries to throw a Hail Mary basically across the court. I don't know how you fit. It's hard to get rid of in sports. You see it in college football all the time. You see it in college basketball. In college basketball, the only way I would do it is you somehow police it to don't run on the court until the visiting team is off the court, and then you can do it. I don't know if you can go through the handshake line, good game, and then have like a row to like guide the visiting team said off the court. It's like it'd have to be a announcement before it happens or something. I don't know how you do that because there is a game going on with maybe 30 some seconds left, maybe even less than that. I don't know how you go about that. It's a situation where I don't know how you would fully be able to control it as a whole. So it's interesting. So we're going to go to break one more time here. Chris Raff, Nick Wyman, 9317 The Ticket. We'll be right back here.
New tires put on my car today.
You did? I didn't see you leave the office.
I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off when they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Diode Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diode Tech online at diodetech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184, $2,500 down with proof credit.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovbneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back. Raff's Good Take on Sports. Nick Wyman here in the studios. Chris Raff, as always, rock with me here for this final segment. Chris, before you get into your good take, little news in college sports happened. North Dakota State moving up to the Mountain West Conference from FCS to FBS. They news dropped it before the Super Bowl, which is kind of an ironic time to announce that. But that is a move that's going to be happening this season. And it's funny I say that too, because the Mountain West Conference already put out their conference schedule for the year, so they're going to have to redo that with adding the Bison into their conference.
Yeah, it's a good thing for the program. The only thing with that I dislike about that is that they can't participate in a bowl game for 2 years unless they don't have enough teams to participate. Then they're able to participate. I'm hoping that maybe they can get that changed, just to give those players that opportunity to play in a bowl game, but we'll see. But for the program, I think taking that leap up, I think that's a good thing for that program, and look forward to see, what they can do in the Mountain West.
It's going to take, team like Delaware was able to go to a bowl game this year, and despite, having that 2-year rule, but they were able to do it. James Madison a couple years ago was another team moving up from the FCS level. The thing that's going to take getting used to is like a team like Hawaii, maybe North Dakota State going out to Hawaii to go play, or Hawaii going to have to go to the Bison Dome. And as long with the Mountain West, seeing like Northern Illinois, who's going to be joining the conference, seeing them go play at Hawaii, or if they play like a late, a November game in Northern Illinois where Hawaii's got to go play in snow, It's a weird conference, but I kind of like it. It's going to take a little getting used to, though.
I want Buffalo to join the Mountain West. So I want to see Buffalo versus Hawaii and Hawaii at Buffalo. I think that is the best transition right there in college sports.
It's just crazy because it's like a couple years ago, this is like unheard of. This is something you do in a video game just to with your buddies, just to screw around with. And now it's like geographically, it doesn't really matter where you are geographically, but you can like, we're in a world where Cal and Stanford are playing Duke and them in a conference. You have obviously Big Ten, you have USC, UCLA are playing teams like Rutgers, who are all the way across the entire United States. Now you have Northern Illinois having to make a trip, or maybe a team like Hawaii having. I got to see Hawaii. Hawaii always has a crazy schedule with their travel, just due to where they're located in the United States. I'm just very curious to see how the mileage add up, because they're usually up there with the best of the best, the mileage traveled of college football.
Yeah, I've always wondered that with Hawaii too. I guess they've got to get back for classes, but if they play 2 consecutive weeks in the mainland, are they able to stay on the mainland and take classes via how the new via
Zoom or whatever? Yeah,
I'm not sure how that works, because you think you'd just be like, if you're playing a Saturday game and then the next Saturday in the mainland, I think I'd be like, yeah, I think we're just going to stay here and you guys can take classes via satellite or however they do it in today's world.
Yeah, because it's like, you think, like, let's say they have to go play Northern Illinois. Okay, they go to Northern Illinois, they play a Saturday game. Is it worth making the trip back, or and then having to go back again, or do you stay there and then you have to go play another team in your conference? Because you think about it, like, you're playing Mountain West this year. The geographic locations are just what they are. You go to Northern Illinois. Maybe the schedulers do them a little solid and give them a bye week or something. They're gonna have to redo it, like I said, and then you have to go all the way back. Maybe you play like a San Jose State or something. I don't know, because the Pac-12. This is all due to the Pac-12 kind of reinventing themselves. So it'll be an interesting topic to see how that affects everything, not only at the FBS level but also the FCS. Now that North Dakota State moves up. But Raff, before we get out of here, what's a good take?
All right, everybody. Today's Raff's good take goes out to the birthday boy, Mr. Aaron Davis. Today is AD's birthday. Just wanted to wish him a very happy birthday. Big year ahead in store for Big AD. Attitude over everything. He preaches it every day. I'm so excited to see, what this year has in store for him. So AD, I wanted to wish you a very happy birthday. And if you're ever looking for a keynote speaker out there, AD is your man. One of the best public speakers I've ever seen when he's in his element. Watch out. Absolutely amazing. So AD, happy birthday. You are Raff's good take.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. I've grown to know Aaron Davis, AD, over time, and really good dude. Sat in a couple times with the drive. He's a good dude and awesome to be around. So that is all for Chris Raff Day. Harrison will be back with you tomorrow. As usual, we got the routine down. We show a lot of depth here at the ticket, and we've showed that so far. So we're kind of like Nebraska ball. We're being able to show what we got. So don't go anywhere. Raff's good take on sports over with. Don't punt hour. Des Moines Pearson will be coming up here on the ticket. Thank you, Chris Raff. You have a great night. And we'll be back here on 93.7 Ticket in just a bit.